The Demeter Code by Russell Brooks. Music composed by Jeremy Vaco. For previous episodes, visit russellparkway.com. Chapter 2, Part 2. The room was lit with a few candles, and near the foot of the bed sat Tina on one of two of the dining room chairs, gagged, and with tears running down her face. A dark-suited man stood beside her, pressing the barrel of a firearm against her temple. If there was anything else that stood out about that man, was the mole on his left cheek. "Hello, Mr. Collins." His eyes switched from his wife to the window. The sound of the man's voice was rich and full of confidence with a British staple, even though his tone had a texture that could charm the panties off of a woman. It burned his chest as though he had downed a glass of overproof whiskey. When the man turned, Collins didn't realize that his own foot was sliding back across the carpet. The dimness of the room obscured the man's appearance, which was probably the whole idea. The suit he wore was dark as midnight, with the exception of the moon-colored tie. The Gucci belt buckle glistened in the candlelight as he then approached him slowly. The same light brightened one side of his head, exposing a strong, solid face with flawless ebony skin, sturdy cheekbones, and full lips. His hair was in locks, not long and wild. Instead, they were short and static, yet still infused with a reggae flair. But it was the one eye that wasn't obscured by the shadows that got him the most. Its penetrating nature made him feel that his mind was being probed. Shit, this man, whoever he was, knew of his vices. "Oh, don't leave so soon," said Shortlocks. It was then that Collins noticed that he had almost backed away about 2 feet from where he stood. He stopped, and as Shortlocks slowly got closer to him, Collins felt himself shrinking. The stranger couldn't hide the fact that he was built. He wasn't bulky, but more of a Jamie Foxx type, only much younger. Then again, when it came to African Americans, he was never good at guessing their age. "Black don't crack" was a joke he often heard from his African American friends, and for good reason. "Tina was wondering when you'd arrive." The man then placed a hand on his wife's shoulder as she closed her eyes tightly, as Collins heard her cry louder from behind the gag. "I hope you don't mind that we kept her company." Collins looked back at Tina, then at Baldy, and then to Shortlocks, whom he assumed was Baldy's superior. His breath shortened as he fought for the words. "Who are you? What do you want with us?" Collins saw the whites of Shortlock's teeth as he smiled while cupping his hands. "Oh, don't be coy. You know why we're here." Shit, he knew. Shortlocks then turned to Tina. "She, on the other hand, I can accept that she may not know about your mountain depths, the several late payments on your home, which the bank has threatened to repossess over and over again. And although you have a stable job with a stable income, it wasn't enough. You needed more, especially since Tina will be giving birth within the next few weeks." He ran his fingers through her black hair. "And while you stand there in trepidation, the only words that must be circulating in your mind as I speak are, why did I do it?" Collins's mouth hung open as Tina closed her eyes and cried louder. Shortlocks placed one hand on the back of her neck while putting an index finger to his lips as he looked down at her. "Shh." Collins's back tightened, hearing the man drown his shush very slowly, silent at first, but then gradually louder, and then with a silent finish. Shortlocks then turned to him. "Did you honestly think that you could steal from a restricted network of files, and that no one would notice?" Oh God, they knew. They definitely knew. Collins swallowed hard. Look, listen, my wife doesn't have anything to do with this. It's me. It's all me. I'll do anything. Just don't hurt her, please. Will you? Said Shortlocks. I'm curious. Is it the love that you have for your wife of 3 years that's motivating you? He then put a hand on his shoulder as he gestured towards Tina's stomach. Or is it for your unborn child? Collins didn't know how to answer him. He was afraid to say that it was both. The man's grip on his shoulder tightened as Collins was made to walk with him to the empty chair beside Tina. Have a seat. Seeing that he had no alternative, Collins obeyed. We're going to play a simple game with simple rules. All you need to do is answer what I ask you truthfully and you'll be fine. Any questions? Collins looked up at him and shook his head. Excellent. $200,000 was deposited into your HSBC bank account in Bermuda in exchange for items you stole from Cementum. I want to know who paid you. Collins saw how Tina looked at him with big eyes. She had stopped crying. Shortlocks turned to Tina. Oh yes, you heard right. Your husband was paid to steal from his employer. He then turned to Collins. The lanes one would go when one's broke. Shortlocks then leaned over to his ear. So, let's have it. Who's your buyer? The heat of his breath on the side of his face made his lower back tighten to the point it conjured pain from a pre-existing back injury. Collins looked at Tina as though to say, I'm sorry. He had a suspicion that any answer he gave wouldn't be the right one. I don't know his real name, he stuttered. I only know him as France. France? Said Shortlocks. Your buyer's a woman? No, it's a man, Collins stuttered. He spoke with some funny European accent. Shortlocks raised an eyebrow. Funny accent? I'm insulted. We could bloody well say the same thing about you Americans. A tear ran down Collins's cheek. I'm sorry. I didn't want to insult you. I didn't mean to insult you. Again, he dragged it out. Collins hushed, save for the loud breathing through his nostrils that he could not help. Shortlocks walked away from him as though he was in thought. He then spun around as though a light bulb had appeared over his head. Ah! Shortlocks then took out an Android smartphone, tapped on it a few times, then approached Collins with it, holding it up to his face. You mean Franz Mueller, correct? Collins studied the picture and nodded quickly with wide eyes. That's him! Yes, that's him! Shortlocks then patted Collins once on the shoulder. Good. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question again. And this time you're going to tell me who was your buyer. And you're going to pronounce his name properly. Collins made a face as he looked at Shortlocks. Is this guy kidding? He already knows who the buyer is. I just confirmed who he was, for Christ's sake. Say his name! Shortlocks yelled, causing Collins' heart rate to triple. It's Franz! His name is Franz Mueller! I swear I don't know anything more about him! Collins closed his eyes tight as though to stop the tears from flowing. He heard Tina's muffled sobs again. Shortlocks smiled. There. Don't you see how easy this game is? It's much better when you don't murder your pronunciations of foreign words. It's so barbaric. Collins didn't wait for him to ask the same question twice. He just nodded. Is that all? You dare break the rules of the game by asking me a question? I'm sorry, sobbed Collins. Shh. Shortlocks tapped his lips as though in thought. He then turned to Baldy as though he had just noticed something. I doubt she's going anywhere, so you can lower your weapon now. The henchman removed his sidearm from Tina's temple. Shortlocks then grabbed the television remote from off the chest of drawers and turned on the wall-mounted high-definition television in front of the bed. He flipped through the channels, stopping on a station which played orchestral music. He then raised the volume to the point that the rumbling timpani shook the windows and rattled the furniture. He then tossed the remote on the bed, grabbed Tina's arm, and pulled her out of the chair. "Shall we?" He then danced a waltz with Tina. She appeared sluggish, but he appeared to be hurting her in order to make her dance with him. "What the hell?" thought Collins. "This man's a lunatic. I gave him what he wanted. Why couldn't he and his partner just leave?" He didn't dare say this out loud, but decided to raise his hand in order to catch his attention. Shortlocks noticed it, pulled Tina into him, and spun her around to make her face Collins. "Yes," Shortlocks said loudly. "I played your game. I gave you what you wanted. What more do you want from me?" "Oh, nothing more," Shortlocks yelled. "You played well." Collins's eyes widened. He couldn't believe what he just heard. Does this mean you let us go?" Shortlocks turned Tina back around to face him, then shook his head. "I'm afraid not." "What? But you said I won!" "No, I didn't," Shortlocks replied as he resumed dancing with Tina. "I just said that you played well. You see, the loser of this game was already predetermined, and that's why I'll always win." He then shoved Tina onto the bed, who landed on her back, pulled out a sidearm from a concealed holster, and fired a round into her head and another into her stomach. Collins screamed as he saw the blood-stained feathers of the pillow fly above his wife's body. His screams left him ignorant to Shortlocks jerking him out of the chair. Before he realized it, he too was lying next to his wife, soaked in her blood, as the assassin forced the gun into his hand with a finger on the trigger, forcing it into his mouth, gagging his scream. Collins fought back, but he couldn't match Shortlocks' strength, who didn't show any sign of strain or effort in his eyes. "Shh." Shortlocks' lips was the last thing Collins saw before the trigger was squeezed. This concludes Chapter 2. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of the Demeter Code, coming next week.